My mind is on the blink. I wonder, should I get up and fix myself a dream? No, no, no. I'm so tired. I don't know what to do. I'm so tired. My mind is set on you. I wonder, should I call you? But I know what you would do. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh yeah, this is episode 53 of the Melvin Live Show. One person, 1 million digital business, right? Well, I just want to share. I'm just so tired this week itself because there's just so many things that are going on, and frankly, I mean, I am just so tired. That's it. I'm glad it's the Friday, and I am glad that next week is actually the school holidays because that's the time that I get to be with my kids. Uh, Although I have been working from home and my kids are at home most of the time after school, I, s- I was just reminiscing the other day that I kind of miss the moments that we could be doing stuff together because technically speaking, even though I am there with them, but what happened is that I am just not doing stuff with them. And I kind of miss that because I think it is so important to connect with family. It's so important to connect with our loved ones. It's important to be able to connect with the people that we truly care about. And obviously, it's important to connect with our um, what we might call that, our body as well, right? And so, I really just want to say that I thank you for all of you for for coming by, dropping by, and leaving me a comment. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Monrizuzaman. I hope I got your name correct, right? It's just a long week, and I am just, uh, feeling a little exhausted. But that's it. Many interesting things have happened. I have, over the course of really conducting experimentation, I have really gotten to find out a lot more about what my customers think, what my potential customers think, and how I could better serve them. And of course, I was also looking at um, upgrading the entire setup that I'm gonna do. So because since I'm gonna be doing this live stream, um, I thought that I might want to up the game. So here's the thing, right? Um, People have been saying that the new normal and all that stuff, and truly, I think no one knows what they're talking about. Perhaps with the exception of a few people who have been studying the trends and looking at what's going on out there. I think with the exception of the few of them, most of us really do not know what exactly does the new normal entail. So I share about this a couple of days back, and I'll share it again here because I think it's so important to get this right. Looking at the way forward, there are basically three scenarios. The way I look at it, scenario number one is there are certain activities that have stopped because of COVID-19. But once, because of COVID-19 as well as because of the recession, Singapore, it's the quarter on quarter comparison for the last quarter was down by 41.2%, which is pretty significant. And I'm sure this is just the tip of the iceberg, because I believe that there are the other aspects itself that we're still not seeing the entire thing being fleshed out in the economy yet. So there are a few things that the way I look at it is as follows. So first thing first, there are certain activities that have halted because of COVID-19, because of the recession. Businesses have been affected. Let's say there are a percentage of these businesses and activities that are going to come back once we kind of get some kind of normalcy back in our life. That's going to come back, right? So that's one. That's one area itself. That's one category of things. Now, the second category of things is that there are going to be some businesses and there are going to be some activities that, because of COVID-19 and the recession, it has stopped or halted or minimized or reduced. And some of these activities are not coming back in the way that we have envisaged them to be. So a very good example would be like corporate training. Hi, Brian. Like corporate training, for example, it's going to be coming back in some way, shape, and form, but not in the way that we perceive it to be, not in the way that we think it's going to be. So the whole idea with, or the whole assumption that things are going to return to normalcy and we're going to be able to do all this face-to-face trading, I think it's not going to come back in the way that we see. Like, for example, the last 2 days, I have been, in fact, this week itself, I have been conducting 3 virtual classes online, and these are with people that in the past they would not choose to embrace this new way of learning, but right now, because for some reason they do not have a choice, and for other reasons they find that this is actually better for them, and so they have kind of embraced this new way of learning and they are liking it. And in fact, on Tuesday, the class that I was conducting on strategic thinking, in fact, the feedback that I got was that this turned out to be way much better than the face-to-face training, because on the face-to-face training, we would be forced, because of logistic and schedule and everybody's timing, we would be forced to condense this program into a 2 full day program. Now, and the effectiveness of going through this massive bit of content over 2 full days, it's going to be quite difficult for most people to absorb and to be able to apply that. And so what we did was we instead of doing 2 full days, we did 4 half-day sessions. And with these 4 half-day sessions, essentially what I have reconfigured it is that I have configured it in such a way that we give them the concepts, we get them to do the discussion to allow them to apply the concepts that they have learned in strategic thinking, and then getting them to present and for me to facilitate and to sharpen their thinking. And all that was done in a very compressed, but in a very fast-paced and well-paced, effort. And they really like it because they felt that it's given them sufficient time to learn certain things, apply it, reflect on it, and then come back again. Instead of steamrolling through it over 2 full days and then not being able to get much out of it. And so this is the second category of things that it's going to come back once the recession is over, once this COVID situation has gotten better. That said, I like to pause here. My heart goes out to all my friends in America, and I wish you well, because the number of cases, the number of new cases that you folks are getting per day is just horrendous. All right, it's just horrendous. And I just pray that all my friends and everyone in America, it's just able to recover from this, and that you will soon find the leadership appropriate to be able to lead the country out of this devastating situation itself. Back to our show, I am saying that there's this category of things that it's going to come back, but it's going to come back in a way that it's going to be different. And so in order for us to be able to seize that opportunity, to be able to leverage this wave, truly is to look at what were our strengths, right? What are our strengths? And then to be able to learn new skills fairly quickly so that we are able to take advantage of the new technology and new opportunities that appear in front of us. So one of the things that I have been looking at and observing and seeing is that I truly believe that live streaming is going to be the way forward, right? Live streaming is going to be the way forward for various reasons. Number one, it's because live streaming is actually a lot more difficult to do than a recorded video, because there is no second take, and you either speak in a way that it's really, really convincing and comprehensive, yet at the same time, you do not go all over the place, right? So that is something that I feel is very crucial. It's a skill that one needs to have, and this is what it is like when you're doing training. So if you're doing, a synchronized training, for example, this is what people are looking out for. So when you look at how I do it in terms of live streaming, this is what you get if you're going to get me as a speaker, if you're going to get me as a trainer, if you're going to get me as a facilitator for your company when it comes to things relating to strategy and leadership. Okay, so that is the second category of things. Now, the third category of things, it's the great unknown, because there are certain activities that after the COVID situation is over, with the economy bouncing back, some of these activities are not coming back. Now, if you're going to ask me what those activities are, frankly, I do not know, but I can guess. Okay, but I do not know for sure. Now, one thing I know is that perhaps the way that we know about conferences, it's probably not going to come back, right? And if it's going to come back, it's going to come back in a very different format itself. I mean, today I was just going through my Facebook feed, and one of the key things one of the posts that really caught my attention was this huge number of people logging into Zoom at the same time and conducting this massive conference that was going on. So I think the way that we run conferences it's not going to happen like how it was before, whereby you fly hundreds of people to a particular location and then you congregate and you do that. It's probably going to be something different, and it's going to be leveraging new technologies. It's going to be leveraging existing technology. It's also going to be an opportunity for us to see the birth of new industry and new technology and new way of doing things. Now, for that to happen and for us to be able to ride that wave itself, really, I think we have to be prepared. We have to be prepared to be willing to experiment, be willing to be the one who take the chances, to be willing the one to try out new things and to put ourselves out there. So like, for example, in this case here, I firmly believe that live streaming is going to be the way to go. And live streaming is something that is going to be so crucial that if you are able to present yourself, if you are able to articulate your point, if you are able to express your views well, and you're able to do it in a way that is convincing, in a way that it's authentic, in a way that is empathetic, and you are able to set up your entire live stream setup in such a way that that doesn't just look crappy like it is now, but professional, I think you're gonna get a lot of attention. Well, that's my take, and that's my observation itself. So if you really want to see, if you really want to be able to leverage live stream and to put yourself up there and really to like Brian said, right, it will be a filter for those who know their stuff versus people who are just fluff, right? So it will really be a point and a filter, as Brian calls it, for us to be able to separate the wannabes or the pretenders from the people who really have it. Now, I would say that in addition to that, I would also say that even for people who haven't, right, they must be comfortable speaking in front of a camera and to be able to muster enough energy to want to do that, because I think many speakers or many people that I know who are professional speakers, for example, they tell me that it is so different speaking into a webcam compared to being able to stand out there and seeing all these faces and all these people, and to be able to leverage and feed on the energy of this live group itself. Right now, they find it a little fake. They find that it's really difficult to do that. And so for those of us who are able to do it in such a way that when we look into the webcam, we are able to envisage this hundreds of people, if even thousands of people, if I may even have the audacity to dream of this, thousands of people watching me live every day, right? These people watching me live every day, and I am just giving my all. I'm just sharing what I'm going through, how I'm building this 1 person, 1 million digital business, how I'm doing that. I think that is going to be phenomenal. And so, this live stream started on May 28th, and I've been doing it on a daily basis on YouTube. Every day I've been doing it. Some days I do it on Facebook, and some days I do it on LinkedIn as well. But I do it on Facebook because I know mom is watching. So that's one of the reasons why I'm live streaming on Facebook, because mom is watching. And mom does ask me, how come I'm not seeing your show tonight? Because sometimes I'm late, like tonight, right? So I've been leveraging and using live streaming as a platform to share what I know and share what I'm doing. And I've come to a point where I really do not care if what people are gonna think, right? If people are gonna say that, wow, this guy is a real joke, right? I really don't care, because I think at some point in time, these people would either be convinced, or these people would realize that they should have follow me, or they should have learned, or they should have jumped on the bandwagon itself, right? So I really don't care, not because I do not care about them, but truly I know what I'm doing, and I'm at this point in my life that I'm just going to give my all. And what matters is not the end outcome. What truly matter is the journey, is the process. And along the way, I want to be able to help as many people as possible. My target is to help 1,000 people. I want to help as many people as possible to realize that dream. So what is that dream? Now, that dream is that, I've always wanted to have this dream, and I saw this as a reality now, especially with COVID-19 happening. This dream is about this. So the pain point, where does the pain point comes from? The pain point came from the fact that I have always been a consultant, and and I've always thought of myself as running a business. However, many years back when I attended a seminar, that the speaker told me in the face that you are not running a business. What you have is a job. Now, obviously, at a point in time, I was offended because I was doing fairly well, I was comfortable, and I just thought he was full of shit, right? So I didn't give too much thought about that. But later on, many years later, I realized that what he said was true, right? That what I had was a job. And how do you know the difference between a job and a business? Well, you have a job when the money stops when you stop working. Now, you have a business when even if you stop working, the money doesn't stop. So what is the difference between these two? Now, number one is, of course, if you are, what you have is a job, then definitely you're trading time for money. Okay, you say, I'm going to sell you this, bank of hours, and for that, you are going to pay me X amount of money. So of course you can sell at a particular hourly rate and still make quite a comfortable living. That is possible. That said, if you're just satisfied with that, you will probably be able to earn your keeps, but you'll not be able to create wealth. Okay, so I wanted to create wealth for various reasons. One is that I want to be able to contribute to my community. I want to be able to contribute to my church. I want to also be able to contribute to the well-being and the livelihood of my family. And so with that in mind, I wanted to not just earn my keeps, but I also want to build wealth. And so, in the last years or so, I have already been putting in the, planting the seeds to doing that. And right now, I'm at this point where I am fortunate and blessed enough to be able to benefit from all those investments that I've made, right? However, one thing remains is that to a large extent, I am still trading time for money. And I hated that because, the fact that I'm trading time for money and I still have not developed a full-fledged business to be able to generate income even while I sleep, I see that as a goal that I need to achieve. And so, based on that itself, there are a few ways. One is, of course, I can double my rates, but there is a threshold. I can increase the number of clients, but again, there is threshold, and it all comes down to time and money. And so that kind of led me on this journey that what I wanted to do is, because I have all this knowledge inside of me because of all my years of consulting, advising for companies, organizations, schools, having a broad range of experience across many, many industries, from precision engineering to chemical engineering to running of schools to travel agency to secondhand car dealers, a wide variety of it. And one of the things that remains constant among all this is that at the end of the day, a few things remains the same. And the things remains the same is, number one, the company or business must have assets, right? So the assets could be in the form of the customer list. The asset could be in the form of buildings. The asset could be in the form of what I call digital assets. And so for me to right now, at this point in time, at this point in my life, to accumulate physical asset, it's going to be quite difficult. I do not see myself owning a building and to be able to lease it out. I don't see that as a possibility, and that's not something that I particularly am interested in. What I'm really, really interested in is, and what I've been able to benefit from, it's the fact that I've been building digital assets, right? So a very, very good example, it's based on all the videos that I've created on LinkedIn and putting them on Facebook as well as on YouTube. That has generated leads for me, that has generated income for me, that has generated awareness for me, and that has generated a lot of goodwill. And so what I wanted to do was that I'm on this journey and so the tagline I came up with: one person, 1 million digital business. In other words, I'm going to be selling nothing but digital business. I won't be selling consulting services because that, again, is time for money. I want to be selling something that I can codify, I can digitize it, I can put it on the internet, you can purchase it, and you can consume and complete the transaction independent of me. Of course, will there be a possibility for us to interact? Of course, right? So that could be a different level, a higher value add of me working with you or working with companies to help them in their quest to reach their goal. And so, I took it upon myself on May 28th to stream live every day, because partly truth be told, I was bored because that was during the lockdown. And the other thing was that I firmly believe in, just executing on your idea and trying it out, experiment and see what happens, right? So that's another thing that I believe. And thirdly, what I believe was that, just start with whatever you have. I mean, if right now the background looks crappy, it looks crappy. But, I think the main thing is to focus on the content. The main thing is to focus on the subject matter. And I think that's more important. Of course, it helps if you are able to up your gear, you are able to up your setup, and it looks nice. Of course, that is a value add. But if you have got all this thing all set up and all nice and pretty, but your content is trash, then I think it's not going to go anywhere. So I've got a couple of goals, and I've got a couple of very interesting projects that's going to be coming up, and I think some of you would be stoked to know. And if you like to follow, you know, please drop me a message, please drop me a DM, or leave me a comment, and I will definitely be sharing with that, informing you when I have something new to launch. So my goal is that every week I should be launching something new, and I should be putting something out to kind of get me nearer to my dream, because right now I already have the basic infrastructure in place, and I'm also acquiring a few set of tools and a few partners to be able to help me pursue this dream itself. So the dream is, one person, 1 million digital business. And so if that is something that interests you, please feel free to join me on this journey, and we can, of course, compare notes and share, and perhaps I could even learn from you, right? And if not, thank you for watching, but I truly hope that your day has been good, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Oh, so by the way, I have switched from StreamYard to Restream because I am just trying it out. So, folks at Restream, I am liking your interface very, very much. In fact, I find your interface really, really sleek. And if there is a possibility for us to collaborate and to work together, I'll be happy to talk to you, folks at Restream. If not, this is Melvin from the Melvin Live Show, and I'll speak to you on the next one. Bye-bye.